The Federal and Francis Xavier Engineering College jointly present the Nellai Marathon 2024. This event is powered by Little Flower Public School and NIMS Hospital, Tirunelveli. Run for Health on Sunday, December 29. Entry is free and all are welcome.
Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. In more trouble for Arvind Kejriwal, Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has sanctioned the Enforcement Directorate to prosecute him in the alleged money laundering case, which has been linked to the liquor policy scam. And the story is coming through the sources. Nobody knows whether it is a confirmed story. Now, the sanction comes ahead of the Delhi elections, which will be, of course, a major test for Arvind Kejriwal. And the irony is that Aam Aadmi Party has called this sanction a false and misleading story and has asked Enforcement Director to show the copy of the sanction which has been given by the Lieutenant Governor. Now, whether the sanction has been given or not, but this story has been planted across the media platforms. Check any news website and they have been updating on this story, but nobody is confirming whether the sanction or the approval has taken place. Now, is this an effort to psychologically weaken the Aam Aadmi Party just before the elections are announced? And also, is there a move to send Arvind Kejriwal again to jail? Or the third option could be that is this an effort to divert attention from the Ambedkar Rao? All this and much more we'll try and discuss over the next 30 minutes. Joining me now is Puneet Nicholas Yadav, Senior Editor with The Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. We have T.K. Rajalakshmi, who's a Senior Deputy Editor from The Frontline. Thank you, Rajalakshmi, for joining. And I'll begin with Puneet. Puneet, what is the confirmation? Has the approval been given or has the approval been not been given? Because there's so much of hue and cry about the fact that, ED has got the approval from the LG's office.
Well, Neelu, I think you know as much as I do as far as this or anyone else does, because what we've heard so far is all source-based information, sources in the LG office or sources in the Delhi Secretariat. No one on record, neither from the LG office or from the Enforcement Directorate. So there's no way of confirming what exactly has happened, or the timing of it, or the consequences of it. But to my mind, there are a couple of ways in which you can look at this. The first is, of course, that, the usual kind of speculations that come with something like this nowadays, that this is all politically motivated. It's, its timing has to be called in question because it's happening on the eve of the announcement of the Delhi elections. So that's one aspect of it. The second, which to my mind perhaps makes more sense, although given the absence of any official confirmation, I can't say this with authority. But what would make more sense to me is that there has been a change in the rules in which, under which, the ED has to operate in case of money laundering cases against elected representatives. See, when Mr. Kejriwal was in jail previously, and then in September he was granted bail, at that point in time, as far as money laundering cases under investigation with the ED were concerned, the ED did not require a sanction to prosecute. That was a requirement only in case of, the CBI investigating an elected representative, or, the state police investigating an elected representative. But the ED, for a money laundering case at that point in time, did not require a sanction to prosecute. On the 6th or the 7th of November, if my memory serves, the Supreme Court changed those guidelines. The Supreme Court then, on the 6th of November, which is last month, came out, it directed the Enforcement Directorate that now, for any kind of prosecution in a money laundering case against an elected representative, an MLA or an MP, you have to first seek sanction to prosecute from the authority concerned. So, if this is in pursuance of that, then it is a routine procedure. Because after all, there was an investigation going on against Mr. Kejriwal. At what stage it is, we don't know. What has changed in terms of the investigation? Again, we don't know. When he was granted bail by the Supreme Court, there were various remarks made, in that order with regard to how the investigation had not progressed, how there was no fresh material on record. So whether there has been any fresh material put on record, that again we do not know. So to my mind, the aspect of the November 6 or 7 ruling of the Supreme Court, making it mandatory now for the ED to seek a sanction to prosecute, makes more sense. But in the absence, as I said, of any official confirmation either from the ED or from the governor, the Lieutenant Governor's office, naturally there will be all kinds of suspicions, all kinds of questions that will be raised. So, which is what makes this look very fishy and allows for all kinds of speculation.
Right. So, Rajlakshmi, Atishi also has put out a tweet saying, in fact, all the Aam Aadmi Party leaders are saying that the story is false and it's misleading. And if you have a copy then of the approval, then show it to us, put it out in the public domain. I think they're perfectly justified when they say this.
Yes, of course, Nilu. See, the SC had granted him interim bail, and it had referred the matter to a larger bench. And so in fact, the validity of his arrest was put before a larger bench. And the SC had also at that time also said that arrests can't be made on the whims and fancies of the authorities. So it had really sort of castigated the ED in that sense, and it said that it can be sort of subject to judicial scrutiny. I mean, especially if the reasons for arrests are not specified, and especially if the arrest itself was challenged by Kejriwal. So they said that it can't be that the PMLA section under which he was arrested, it can't be subject to judicial scrutiny, right? So the Supreme Court was very clear on that, and it was, I think, a setback to the ED in that sense, because they clearly did not have the evidence. Several of the witnesses that they had that they had produced, turned out first they were sort of witnesses which said a different thing, and then finally they were just saying things as per the convenience of the prosecuting authorities. So there were a lot of gray areas. I think all these things, I think, were argued by Abhishek Manu Singhvi in court, and I think the Supreme Court did take cognizance of this, and that is why it referred it to a larger bench. I mean, he was given interim bail. Of course, there were certain conditions for which he was given bail, but I think one of the principal reasons for him, I think, sort of getting bail also, and also that the Supreme Court said, that the validity of the arrest can be subject to uh, scrutiny, to judicial scrutiny, and was I think was also hinged on this issue that evidence was lacking. Core evidence was lacking. Of course the ED said that it can give reasons. It has the reasons. It has the sufficient reasons, but then it could not produce all those evidentiary in the material. And this has been going on for the last 1.5 years. I mean, this has been going on like a ping pong seesawing thing for the last 1.5 years. And it does certainly sort of beg the question, which Puneet also raised, that what new has happened now? What new evidence have they suddenly sort of come about that they should seize this opportunity to get the sanction of the LG to sort of renew their charges against him, or to make a fresh ground for arrest. But the fact remains that the validity of his previous arrest itself has been referred to a larger bench. So till that is disposed of, I mean, I do not see how all these things are going to come into play, or that unless they sort of manufacture some evidence at some stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But politically speaking, Puneet, how would you really see, this situation coming as it does just on the eve of the announcement of the elections? And we already know that all the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, including Manish Sodia, Arvind Kejriwal, all of them have been going on padyatras, reaching out to the people. They've been coming out with a lot of welfare schemes as well. So is BJP really worried, and this could be a move to weaken Aam Aadmi Party or weaken Arvind Kejriwal in any way?
Well, certainly, I think that is what the BJP would hope for. But to my mind, it's something that, if at all this is true and if at all an arrest is in the offing, uh, I would think that the Aam Aadmi Party would actually be thrilled about it. Because the way the BJP has kind of misused agencies over the years for targeting its political rivals, it's something that the common people now see through. You talk to anybody on uh, I live in Delhi. My maids, my help, the staff in the society we live in. You talk to anybody, and these are, of course, core Kejriwal voters. You ask any of these people, or at times, I mean, you don't even need to ask, since they know that I'm a journalist, and when I have these interactions with them, one of the first things they say is, "Oh, see, these agencies are after Kejriwal again. The BJP is doing it." And it kind of strengthens their resolve further to vote for Kejriwal. Now, or vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. So, in that sense, it's like giving the Aam Aadmi Party more fodder, more ammunition to say that, look, we are being targeted by the BJP because we're the only ones who can defeat them in Delhi, and the BJP is rattled by Arvind Kejriwal. So that's one, and it's, in a sense, it's unfortunate because, one, of course, it raises questions on the whole way of whether it's CBI, ED, income tax, police, their investigations, but also there are, see, as far as the Delhi excise policy case is concerned, there are genuine questions there. There are issues there which the Aam Aadmi Party has not come clean on or has not adequately explained. And though all of that gets brushed under the carpet because of the reputation that the investigating agencies have now got of being completely compromised. So for the Aam Aadmi Party, politically, if the ED and the CBI and whatnot, if all of them go after him on the eve of the elections, I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise, because while the BJP has tried to build it up.
No, but
Yeah.
but why would BJP at the 11th hour give this fodder to Aam Aadmi Party, realizing that how the Delhiites see Arvind Kejriwal and how he's accepted politically by the people? So is this a deliberate foolishness on the part of BJP? Because I remember during Jharkhand elections also, ED came into picture, nabbing close people, people close to Hemant Soren. So is this a kind of a repetitive model we are seeing here now in Delhi? But BJP doing it deliberately, and very well they know that how it can translate into votes for Aam Aadmi Party.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't really say what the BJP and its leadership are thinking. But there is, of course, a pattern here. And more than a pattern, there is enough evidence now, electoral evidence now, to also suggest that these kind of tactics have been backfiring against the BJP. And the BJP doesn't seem to be learning its lessons from it. I mean, why it is still going ahead with something like this, if at all this is the case here, I fail to understand. See, as far as this specific case is concerned, there have been not 1, 2, or 3, but as many as 7 supplementary charge sheets that the ED has filed in the Delhi excise case. In 7 supplementary charge sheets, against Kejriwal, if you go by the Supreme Court's observations or even the trial court's observations, there is nothing new on record. And so what, as I said earlier, what is there that you've suddenly found unless, of course, as I said earlier, unless this is routine, that, after the lashing they got from the Supreme Court, they now want to be more careful, and so they want to follow the protocol set by the courts on the 6th of November. And, before they proceed further with the investigation, they want to seek a sanction to prosecute, and then, the next steps would follow. Unless that is the case, it's a different matter. But otherwise, what is there? And this is naturally, it's something that the Aam Aadmi Party will go hammer and tongs about. When they seek vote, and we're not very far off from the elections now, but, perhaps another week or 2 weeks, the dates will also be announced. The candidates have already been announced by the Aam Aadmi Party. The AAP has announced all its candidates. So,
can BJP go ahead and arrest Arvind Kejriwal on the eve of elections? Will they ever do that?
Well, the BJP won't be arresting him. It will be the ED or the CBI. But certainly, see, all of this doesn't surprise me anymore. That's the point. That political rivals being arrested or being searched, or whether it's ahead of the elections or even during the elections, it's stopped surprising anybody. And as I said, the people see through this. Everyone, even if there is a genuine case, but it's against a politician, people now wonder, what is the politics behind it? What is the BJP going to gain out of it? So, that's unfortunate, but that's also the truth.
But Manish Sisodia has been commenting on Twitter, saying that this is a move to divert attention from the Ambedkar Rao. Rajlakshmi, I'll come to you. That you feel that this also could be a reason?
Well, it could be. It could be a reason too, because, and also from the Purvanchali's Rao, not only Ambedkar, there's an added Rao now which has come up, and of course, Mr. J.P. Nadda is in the spotlight for this, for a statement that he made on the floor of the House. I mean, he didn't exactly liken migrants to Rohingyas and Bangladeshis, but maybe he imputed that all those people who are in Delhi as migrants, or in fact the migrant population, they are Rohingyas and illegal, of course, Bangladeshi. So now this whole the Purvanchali thing has come up, and the Aam Aadmi Party was getting all geared up to take up this issue at the street level in its rallies, etc. And it was also going to announce two schemes, apparently, according to a report in the Express. I think the Mahila Samman scheme and the Sanjeevani scheme. So they were going to announce two schemes. So they can go to town saying that here we were going to announce some good schemes for the people of Delhi, and now they are trying to put our most favorite candidate for CM behind bars again. So yes, it won't show the BJP in good light, but it's another way of them saying that that of course because LG is their man, so it's not going to really make any difference. I mean, they would one way or the other, they would use that office to at least harass, or at least show that we are trying to do the right thing, address corruption and this whole issue of money laundering. But these people are not allowing us to do, and that or that the courts are coming in between us, and that we are really doing a job here. Yeah, and that they're obstructing. But now all the ministers are out now. All those who are jailed are all out, and they've been given tickets also. They're all so it's not going to be easy, I think, for the BJP to really to sort of corner them, once again, because earlier, they didn't have people. It was just Atishi was out, and all of them are out, and I think each one of them, is going to go with a certain amount of vendetta. What happened, because spending time in jail is not a pleasant thing for anybody, and that too for such long durations. So one just hope that itself galvanizes all their leaders and all the followers. I would say cadre here, because Aam Aadmi Party doesn't have a cadre, so I would say followers. But yes, I think maybe it's not a great move by the BJP. I mean, if at all it is sort of planning, but ED rather, if at all it is sort of planning to do this. And besides, that issue remains. because the legality of the arrests of his previous arrest is still before a bench. So you can't sort of arrest him again, when that is still sort of pending, unless you sort of, as as we discussed earlier, produce something just sort of the blue, some new and fresh, incriminating evidence, or some trail, or maybe they got something on the Goa elections, how they were funded. I don't know, because there were some of those unexplained things that
Yeah.
Puneet did mention. So if they have got some new dirt, as it were, then it's a different issue. But I doubt it really. I mean, because again, all those charge sheets, all those voluminous charge sheets, and then of course 1.5 years of investigation. Come on, either they're totally incompetent, or that evidence is just not there. It can only be either of the two things. Yeah.
But how are the odds stacked up as far as Delhi is concerned, Puneet? Because I think few weeks ago there were stories of how Arvind Kejriwal is trying to detect how the deletions in the voter list are happening, and if that is the case, which has been made out by Arvind Kejriwal himself, he got people to corroborate what he was saying. So if that is the thing, then is there a possibility that by hook or crook BJP will try and win as many votes as it can in the Delhi elections? So the going could be tough for Kejriwal then.
Well, I mean, see, this whole issue of deletion of names and voter lists just before elections, it's now something that's again become a trend. We saw how that happened, in Maharashtra. Deletions on one hand, and then additions, suspicious additions on the other. Then, of course, the same thing with regard to the sudden jump in voter turnout after 5 p.m. All those factors are there. But you see, there's a slight difference here in Delhi, which is that unlike a Maharashtra or, a Haryana or even UP also the same issue had happened during the Lok Sabha elections and the UP Assembly elections, where there were constituencies where mass deletions of names had happened. But the Aam Aadmi Party on these issues is far more alert than the Congress or even the other regional parties. We've seen how the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi has been raising the issue of voter deletion, name deletion. They had a meeting with the Election Commission, and I'm told with specific examples, constituency-wise. Sometime last week, they had, or 2 weeks back, they had a meeting with the Election Commission. The entire leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party was present, and they gave constituency-wise examples of the names that had been deleted, and they asked for an explanation. Following which, apparently, the Election Commission, kind of told them that the EC will look into it and get back to them with an explanation. I don't know whether they have, but the deletion part of it is, of course, a concern for the Aam Aadmi Party, but I'm sure that they are, kind of making some strategy around it. But having said that, see, the other issue also is that this is an election where the Aam Aadmi Party does face some degree of anti-incumbency also, which isn't imagined or alleged. It is very real. This is going to be, see, they won in 2013, of course, with a minority government for 49 days. And then they had an absolute majority in the 2015 results, absolute majority, unprecedented numbers in 2015 and 2020. So there was a considerable amount of anti-incumbency coupled with, the corruption allegations, the issue of air pollution, the issue of monsoon preparedness, all those things, general, the administrative failures, and all of that, of course, was there. But, and the AAP was very well aware of this. So if you actually go through their candidate lists, it shows, because see the number of incumbent MLAs who've been denied tickets. The first two lists, I guess, out of the 30 odd candidates that were announced in the first two lists of the AAP, 31 candidates, there were close to 18 or 19 MLAs who were axed. and fresh candidates were given. This is something that the BJP normally does, you know,
Yeah.
of ruthlessly denying tickets to incumbent MLAs. But the Aam Aadmi Party did that, which suggests they knew there was anti-incumbency, not just against the government, but against individual MLAs. And so they've made, some kind of preemptive, corrections there. Uh, Aside from that, there is also a general sense that uh, the overall popularity of the app, because of this 15 years of power, or at least 10 years of absolute majority and all of that, uh, there is a certain level of fatigue with the app. It may not be to an extent that the app loses the election, but to come back with 62 MLAs, which
That
was the
could,
2020 tally, may
yeah.
be difficult. So the app's whole strategy would naturally be around uh, retaining as much as they can out of these 62, and
Hmm.
not, because it's a small assembly. So if say hypothetically, they are at 40 or 45 seats, it becomes easy to repeat a scenario like we've seen, for the BJP to repeat a scenario like we saw in Maharashtra, or we saw in Madhya Pradesh or Goa, if the margin of victory for the Aam Aadmi Party is very slender. But
Hmm.
then,
Yeah.
and which is what makes it important for the AAP to have as much as possible in terms of, retain as many seats as possible from their current lot. And that is where the AAP's challenge is. I don't think that the AAP is in a situation where it will lose the election, but how much of its current tally it will retain, that is going to
Yes.
be an important factor here. The BJP, I still don't think that the BJP has got its strategy together for the Delhi elections. Uh, of course, we don't really know their candidates list and all so far, but it's Delhi is a very interesting electoral arena for the BJP. It's an area where they managed to win with a clean sweep in the Lok Sabha elections. Even at the height of Sheila Dikshit's popularity, they managed to sweep the MCD elections. But the assembly somehow just evades them.
Yeah.
So it is a very interesting, and this is of course as urban an area as it gets.
Absolutely.
So this whole traditional wisdom that the BJP always performs very well in urban areas, that also doesn't hold true when it comes to the Delhi Assembly elections. So it's very interesting in that sense.
Right. Okay, so Rajlakshmi, coming back to the controversy which has unfolded today, whether or not LG has given a sanction to the ED or not, what would you really say for this story towards the end, and then I'll end the program?
Neeru, till the sources reveal themselves, there isn't going to be much progress on this. It is just going to be at the level of speculation, and until then, I think the Aam Aadmi Party is going to sort of combat this perception very strongly,
Absolutely.
and of course, BJP will say, "We told you you are corrupt, and therefore this is happening," right?
Hmm.
But then, yes, but then, as Puneet says, Janta is smart. Now they've seen through all this. They've seen all the leaders of Aam Aadmi Party go to jail and come back. Okay, they've seen them all now, all on bail. Okay, and they are, and therefore I think there'll be some degree of assessment also. Because I think the campaign on corruption was successful, which is what was the assessment during the Lok Sabha polls. It was successful. Otherwise, this clean, complete wipeout of the Aam Aadmi Party would not have happened, and also the
Absolutely.
Congress, of course. So to what extent that still holds, in the minds of people, is an issue. We can't really say for certain whether that's got completely obliterated and that it will be replaced by the schemes, etc., that the Aam Aadmi Party proposes to announce, right? And those schemes have to be, better than what the BJP offers. So I think the test will be that ultimately, because there's a crisis, Nilu. There's a crisis. People are not really doing well in life. There is an existential crisis. There is an economic crisis. There is an employment crisis. right? And the prices of all essential food items skyrocketing, any kind of a relief, at this time, whether you call it remedy or whatever, any kind of a relief, people are quite sort of willing to accept it. I mean, that
Right.
is a sad state of affairs, but then this is it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's see whether the sanction letter is put out in the public domain, which has been given by the LG. And of course, all eyes will be now soon when the election dates are going to be announced by the Election Commission. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi Puneet. It was wonderful having you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal.
The Federal and Francis Xavier Engineering College jointly present the LA Marathon 2024. This event is powered by Little Flower Public School and NIMS Hospital, Tirunelveli. Run for Health on Sunday, December 29. Entry is free and all are welcome.